Hello everyone. Today is it's a Q&A giveaway. It's a new thing we're going to try. We've done a Q&A. It was very successful, at least I think so. And I think today may be more successful because not only is it a Q&A, it's a giveaway. Pretty pumped about it. So let's jump right in. We're going to go through questions that you have asked on the vlog in the comments. Some of these I know what episode they're from, and some I don't because it got really out of hand because you ask a ton of great questions, and it bothers me that I can't answer them all like this, although we've been doing a better job answering them in general, so I hope you're noticing that. And once again, just thanks for all the questions. So here we go. Question number 1 comes from Steve Wood. What would you assemble if you wanted the absolute cheapest rig that you would truly play on stage? Assume all used amp, guitar, tuner, overdrive, delay, reverb, and accessories. So this is from the Dumble episode where I went to Nashville and we built a very elaborate, expensive guitar rig. By the way, that I didn't actually like how it sounded. That was the humor of that. So what he's asking is what could I build cheaply? So I'm going to do an episode where I build an entire guitar rig off of Craigslist. I'm going to try to do it with like $200. I've been working on this idea. But right now I would say I would go with some type of like Fender hot rod amplifier because they're everywhere. I would get a Telecaster of some sort because I think that's the most versatile guitar for cheap. And pedals, I would probably lean into Boss pedals and Dan Electro pedals. And cables, I just wouldn't really care. If I can just get the sound to work, I would be very happy with it. So maybe I'd have some money left over for like some Flamin' Hot Cheetos or something. Okay, question number 2. Same episode. I used some pedals called Cornish. They're very expensive, and this question is dealing with that. Mike Deely says, Josh, I think you should do a breakdown of what makes the Cornish pedals worth the high price point. That would be a cool video. That would be a very cool video, and believe it or not, I was already thinking that, and there's going to be something pretty special coming up later in the year, I hope. But the short answer here is that Pete Cornish is legendary, and he can charge what he wants because people continue to pay it. That's how money works. That's like how people, stuff is expensive. Like some things are just horribly expensive, and they're the high price point because people keep buying it at that. And the one factor that plays into this is that Pete, now in his 70s, still builds every pedal with his wife at his home in England. So it's an incredibly boutique experience. You get your name put on the pedal. They're incredibly high quality. They're one of a kind. So yeah, they're worth the high price point because they're worth the high price point. That's like super deep, I know. Okay, here we go. Question number 3. Jackson Hamrick. Will you do a vlog about maybe like your top 10 favorite amps and why? Also, how people should go about setting the amp controls. Because for some reason, sometimes I think I'm being dumb in how I set my amp, even though I know it's a matter of preference. I also love the sound of your Bassman, and I just want to hear it be played more. Yeah, that's a really great idea. I'll tell you off the top here, my favorite amps are 6L6 amplifiers, particularly anything from the Bassman lineage or Bassman family. So a Fender Bassman to me is the ultimate amp. And every amplifier on earth is really like 2 topologies. It's either a Fender or a Vox style thing. And you know, you guys see all the Sobtechs. I'll probably have a question coming up about that. My favorite is the Sobtech MiG 50. That could equally be said to be my favorite amp next to a Fender 65 Bassman, a 1965 blackface Bassman. Because they're very similar. I just like 6L6 tubes because when an amp has 2 of those, it's a 50-watt amp pretty much, at least 35 to 50 watts, and that's my favorite type of amp. And a little trick for any of you who play Fender amps or similarly like Bassman style amps, I pretty much set every EQ at 6 o'clock and I never touch it, and that has always worked all of my life. Even when I didn't play guitar, the knobs were set there. When I didn't know what an amplifier was, the knobs were always at 6.
How do you set an amp knob at 6 o'clock?
6.
Oh.
Oh, I call it, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because at 6 o'clock is all the way down.
Okay, Nick just brought up something where I said I set my amp controls at 6 o'clock. What I mean is I put the control at 6, which is actually noon. Just put the knobs at 6. It's not a clock. Sorry. Are we good? Are we good now? Are we okay? Okay, we're good. Moving on. I'd like to know, Josh, what is your favorite album of covers? What a coincidence. It's sitting right here. My favorite album of cover songs is Not a Surf If I Had Hi-Fi. Not a Surf is one of my favorite bands, and they're great. A lot of people have never heard of them, or you were around in the 90s and you heard their probably my least favorite song by them called Popular, but you should get into Not a Surf. Wait is a Gift is an amazing record. This is an amazing record, If I Had Hi-Fi. So that's your record time for today. Next question. This is Simon Osterman. I think that's your name. If it's not, I'm so sorry. Simon Osterman. Hey Josh, first, thank you for the vlog. You are very much welcome. Thank you for putting a question in. He says, great info, but really it's nice to hang out with you once a week. I really like you, man. You know, I don't ever hear that. Usually people try to get away from me. And then you say, I have a fuzz amp question. What is your opinion on fuzz through Fender style amps? I have a Blues Deluxe. What a coincidence. Just talked about that. Which I love, but ... I hear on the interwebs, fuzz sounds way better through Marshall style. What you say, young Jedi? Anytime anyone says they hear something on the interwebs, I immediately don't believe it. But I will say that is a common opinion. Hendrix played Marshalls. He turned them up deafeningly loud. Like, I can't describe how loud those rigs are when you play them at those volumes. So like Eric Johnson, for instance, fuzz and Marshall, he physically has gone deaf. Like, that's how loud those are. And there is something about a really hot amp being cranked, tons of volume and fuzz. Yes, it's really great, but it's really impractical. I have no problem loving fuzz through Bassmans and Fender style amps and Blues Deluxes like you have. One of my favorite amps is a 95 Blues Deluxe, and it's the Tweed edition. I bought it at a pawn shop for $200, and I would play that amp at any gig over any amp in this shop, including amps that cost $3,000, $4,000. It's a great amp, and I tell you what, I would play fuzz through it, and I would love it. Great question. Thanks, Simon. Karen Moore. I hope I'm not butchering your first name. Karen Moore. How different is the color box to the Hudson Broadcast? I'm guessing you've compared them by now. I love this question because I actually have wanted to play the Hudson Broadcast since it first came out. It looks really cool, and I don't know. I can tell you from looking at them control-wise, and I read the copy of the Hudson Broadcast, I think they're the same genre, but I don't think they're that similar. I think the color box is meant to do a lot of things, and the Hudson Broadcast seems very specific. I guarantee, though, that there's a point where those pedals would probably fall in line with each other pretty closely, much like if you take any two drive pedals, there's some point where they will be similar because overdrive is a genre, and I think these are in a genre, and it's pretty cool. I think, and hopefully more builders will start to build things like this. All right, now we have a question from Joshua Fong. You say, it would be awesome and super helpful if you did a video about the different jargons like tone, wet, clean, etc. This is from the Haunting Mids episode. So haunting mids is a jargon, a buzzword, a catchphrase. That'd be really good if I could get it to not be 5 minutes. I mean, there's so many buzzwords. I think we find it hard to describe sounds in our head, and that's where these things come from. But that's a really good idea, and out of a lot of the suggestions I get, I think that could be really fun. All right, this is question number 8 so far, from I Am Anonymous. That's clever. Do you make a pedal comparable to the Dallas Arbiter treble boost? Do you find that type of tone useful? So maybe, I'm assuming from this, you didn't watch the Why You Need a Boost episode, and I'm going to forgive you. It's fine. I'm not going to hold that against you. So go watch that episode, and I answer this in detail. I love the treble booster. I have an original Dallas Arbiter. I use a lot of different ones, and here are my suggestions to you. The Moonshot by Greer, the classic Keeley Java Boost, and my favorite, made by a friend of mine, Johnny from Chicago, That's not his name. He's Johnny and he lives in Chicago. But if I knew someone named Johnny from Chicago, that'd be amazing. Silver Solo by Daredevil. That's his company. This is my favorite one. I just like how it feels and what it does. So I don't make one yet, but that's what I would go try out. And watch that Why You Need a Boost episode. All right, Alexander Acker says, Josh, why would you need this? This is from the Haunting Mids episode. So why would you need a Haunting Mids if you have a middle knob on an amp? He has a Marshall DSL 40CR. Okay, this is why you still need a Haunting Mids, because the fact that your amp has mids and mid controls does not mean that you do not need more. So they're very specifically set by the manufacturer. The function of that mid control is very much specifically pointed for a point and purpose, and that is usually the interaction of the amp with the speaker cab designed for it, the way the drive channel may work. There's all kinds of factors there. So what the Haunting Mids does is it takes any overdrive, any distortion, and any fuzz, and helps you reshape those in so many ways in an easy way, because it's a really powerful control system that is very pointed to exactly what you need to change just overdrive tones. So I hope that's helpful. So if you have a mid control, which you do on most any amp, it's still incredibly useful. Yes, you need it. Or at least try it. And then let yourself figure out if you need it or not. This is from Soundcastle C. Hi Josh, would it be possible to do an episode about the pedals that are working well with sag voltage, please? Would you also advise why and how to explore the concept in creating the sound without damaging the pedals? Please. Thanks. Okay, really great question. If you're watching this and you don't know what sag voltage means, that just means that you take the normal 9-volt power that comes from a power supply and you sag it down to a lower voltage. So like a pedal power tube by Voodoo Lab, it actually has 2 little trims on there, and if you use sections 7 and 8, I think output ports 7 and 8, you can trim 9 down to say 5. I'm about to release a little simple unit that you can put on any pedal in between and sag down. Or some people just use dead batteries. So your battery might die down to 5 volts from 9. And what happens is in dirt pedals specifically, it's pretty magical. You can end up having gating going on, like a more squishy character, a little bit more of a chaotic thing happens. And it's pretty awesome. So here's the thing. You can't damage a pedal by lowering the power. If that were true, then dying batteries would break your pedal. So that's like the simple logic of power. Don't be scared to give your pedal less power. Be scared to give it more. That's where problems happen. That's like so many of the warranty repair issues we deal with at JHS is someone plugs their pedal up to a boat battery or something and destroys it or whatever. I really like this question. This is from the Kodiak episode. My favorite song with tremolo is Timothy by As Cities Burn. It is off their second studio record, Come Now Sleep. It's the last song on the album. It's a 12-minute song with 6 minutes of a beautiful instrumental where trim is used. You can tell it's a live recording and all improv. Come Now Sleep is, in my opinion, one of the best albums ever. The first track of the record, Contact, is probably the best song. Josh, capital letters, exclamation point. I want your opinion on this record. And he goes on. Okay, so Bo, here's the thing. I thought I knew this record because As Cities Burn has a record called Hell or High Water. I'm sure you know this record. That's the only one I've ever heard. Now I'm going to go listen to the one you're suggesting. But the song on that record, I've always said this for years, it's called Into the Sea. It's like one of the coolest overdrive sounds and playing technique and like application of a riff in a song I've ever heard. So I'm going to check this band out more. I just never dove into the other records. My opinion will come at some point. But if you haven't heard this band he's talking about, As Cities Burn, check it out. The album I'm talking about is Hell or High Water. and specifically like track 4, Into the Sea. The record that Bo is talking about is called Come Now Sleep. So there's some more music for you to listen to. Next question. Uralosive, I believe. Once again, I'm a horrible reader. If I butcher your name, just forgive me. Haven't got any idea why the Kodiak is a bear. Why did you need to set together with a bear? I just wanted to impress my kids, basically. That's the answer to that. It was fun. I mean, there's nothing like sitting next to a bear as they feed him Pop-Tarts, chocolate syrup, and marshmallows, and he sucks on your arm and licks your face. And you know that at any moment you could die, but there's such a joy of seeing a bear eat horribly in front of you and lay on top of you that it's worth the risk of death. And if you ever get a chance to take the chance of the risk of death, do it if it involves a bear eating candy near you, because it's an experience that I will hold with me till the day I die, hopefully not by a bear. Jason Garcia, love the tremolo. Was the bear in any famous movies? What did the bear think of the pedal? The pedal didn't exist because I went ahead and pre-filmed the video movie teaser that you haven't really ever seen because I knew the pedal was coming, but then the pedal took years and it all just kind of fell apart. The bear is in a ton of famous movies. He's in Evan Almighty. He's in the Old Spice commercials. He's in the Allstate commercials. When you saw the bear ride in the car, that's Bam Bam. That's his name. There's some more stuff. He's been on TV. He's been on Conan. That's how I got connected with the bear.
Bachelor.
The Bachelor. He's the Bachelor bear. I can't say this name. Exenius AR. I don't know. I'm butchering the names, but you'll see the name. If you see your name, just read it to yourself and just imagine I said it. Does the waveform selection gradually blend in between, or is it more like a 4-way toggle? He's talking about the Kodiak, so it has 4 waveforms. It has sine, rhythmic, square, and ramp. It is essentially a toggle on a knob, so you don't blend. It's on and off for each 4. JBN12 says, why so many Sobtech amps? Are you trying to corner the market or collecting, or do you just like them, and why? All of that. I want to corner the market on them. Like, I don't know why. I've actually never thought about wanting to corner the market till I was just asked this, so I might have to get a few more. But I collect them. They're really fascinating to me because they're made in Russia, which I know nothing about, and they're made out of old military parts, which I know nothing about, and they sound really good. And I got a hold of a MiG-50 at some point in my life and really liked it. And then I got a guy that's from Russia that started sending them. I know a guy, and he kept sending certain models, and I never said not to. And then it got real out of control, and I kind of can't undo what I've done. So I have a lot of them, and I have really crazy ones that no one has. I think I have more of them than Mike Matthews. I'm pretty positive of that. And I don't know where it's all going. I want to do an episode on it because you guys are driving me crazy. I think it's the most asked question. But I feel like to do it justice, I have to do a 40-minute Ken Burns style production of the Sobtechs, and that's a lot of pressure that I can't handle before the holidays, so it might be next year. Jackson Hamrick, could you do a compressor episode and maybe have Robert Keeley come too? It was cool having a bunch of different perspectives, and the convo was super cool. Awesome episode. He's referring to the Metal Pedals episode. Yes, Robert Keeley is the ultimate compressor discussion, because he's amazing, and I just want him on the episode for all kinds of stuff. So yes, compressor will be something done soon. I've been gathering up a couple compressors I've never had, and that's definitely something we're going to try to do. Next, Caius Dragonblade is your name? I don't know. Caius Dragonblade? I don't know. But your question's amazing. Here we go. Do you sell prototype circuits or pedals like the ones which are for all purposes the pedal, but not tweaked further than the production pedal, or maybe pedals that straight didn't make it? Typically no, but sometimes yes. There's a reverb store, JHS Pedals reverb store, and every once in a while you'll see something crazy, like I've got a few prototypes I would sell. There's a rule of thumb that I live by, and it is I will sell anything if the money's correct. I'll pretty much sell anything. Like you could buy anything. If you want to pay enough money, anything's for sale. So with that being said, when something goes up on Reverb, there might be some weird stuff mixed in with that. Del Weber. Do you love tone as much as you love your Sovtech amp? See, again, I understand you guys are noticing the problem. He says, I may have seen Scott's store if he has an eBay store. I think you're referring, I'm Josh, my last name is Scott, but people say I'm Scott, so I'm going to roll with this and say, you may have seen my eBay store. Okay. Josh, I found the most valuable and most expensive pedal, an original Silver Klon, $2,539 from an eBay store. Yes, it's ridiculously expensive, but your main question is, do I love tone as much as Sovtech? Yes, absolutely. I love everything. That's the problem. From Pat Flanagan, I'm curious if you, for whatever reason, had to eliminate all but one pedal from the currently available line of JHS pedals, what would it be? This is the craziest question I've ever been asked, by the way. Would it be your favorite one or the most popular? Are they the same? If I had to eliminate all but one pedal, I would make a new pedal that has 5 pedals in it, and I would release that pedal and then only sell it. That's my workaround for your question. I don't know. Best selling is it's hardly ever my favorite. My favorites sometimes don't sell well, but they have been lately. Like the Morning Glory is always a favorite. Ben Garland. Hey Josh, I'm digging the vlog. I have a question about pedal circuit design, which I would put into a few questions since I don't actually know how to ask this concisely. How does one sit down and figure out what type of chips and other components to use to get the desired effect? Like, do you have a program, algorithms from scratch, an assembly, or some ICs, or are there off-the-shelf components that are already programmed, like DSP, just figure to put it all together and the effect you want? So yeah, circuit design is no different than any other type of design. It's not so mysterious. There's no magic. It is very scientific and factual. It's very easy to lock down rules and guidelines. And pedal manufacturers like myself, pedal designers like myself or others, we don't have like special parts. There are some things that are DSP that work with audio, but you're going to find some of those things in mixing boards and stuff as well. So a pedal designer like me or whoever, we take what we're given and we do something with it. Essentially, if you were to ask someone who's a really great chef to make you a filet mignon with whatever, blah, 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 they're going to go do it like they do it. They've probably learned every possible way to cook that steak. And in the midst of that, they chose one of those ways, or everything melted together in a unique way that's made from all the ways. Circuit design and circuit application it's practical. It's not really wizardry. I like to think I'm a wizard, but I'm not a wizard. Jack Middlemas says, Josh, what's the difference between chorus and flanger? You ready? Chorus is blue and flanger is purple. That's the only difference. Flanger is basically, in layman's terms, a chorused chorus. It's a much deeper chorus, and it keeps feeding back into itself. And also, it's something to note here that chorus itself is actually just delay, but set very, very fast. And then you get into flange, and you have the same slap, like very quick delay. That's chorusing over and doubling the guitar just a little, and then you get to feed it back into itself here. So when you have a delay pedal that runs away, well, flange is doing that in a more controlled way. So you kind of start with, if I had a DM2 here for this family, slap echo, really, really tight slap with the ability to layer over just enough, makes it glassy, that's chorus, and then this lets you regenerate it into itself, which is flanger. And here's a little pro tip. I'm not going to charge for this today, maybe next time. My favorite chorus sounds are flangers with the controls set very low. You might not realize that pedals have knobs and controls on them so you can turn things down. So if you have a pedal that you're not a huge fan of, like I'm not a fan of flanger, I'm just going to say it, not a huge fan, but when I turn the controls down, I love it as a chorus. I think it's actually a more rich and big and useful, magical chorus sound. Brian Wong says, Josh, fan of your pedals, but this isn't a pedal question. Where did you get that X-Wing cycling Tour de France shirt? It's awesome. So I'm wearing another one of these today. This is that character from Star Wars on a fat bike. And there's a company called Thread and Spoke. So thread, like you needle and thread, and then the spoke of a bicycle. So go to threadandspoke.com, pretty sure. And they have amazing shirts. I wear a ton of them because I connected with a guy there. He's like the main dude, and he's a guitarist. So there's a little bit of switch swap that goes on. You know, I have way too many of these shirts now, but I like to cycle. It keeps me sane. And they also have a sister-brother company. I'm not sure the relationship there. DNA Cycling, which is like kits and jerseys. So check out DNA Cycling and Thread and Spoke if you care. Josh Bissell, I got to hear your thoughts about multi-effects pedals. Like the Helix, Headrush, Axe 8, seems like so many guitarists are opting for them and ditching their pedal boards. What do you think about them compared to stomp boxes? I think to each his own. I think digital is really great. I think digital has grown leaps and bounds. It's definitely more convenient in some ways. Things are more convincing. Yeah. I guess at the end of the day, I would play a gig with a digital thing if I liked it, if I had time to set with it. The thing about stomp boxes for me is, you know, I'd pick up that C2 I just had, I just turn the knob and brainlessly bend back, you know, like I bend over, turn the knob and set up and play my guitar. I don't have to go through a menu. I'm always going to be lazy like that. And I think a lot of you are lazy the way that I'm lazy. And so that's a thing. And analog has a certain charm. And digital has its own thing. So yeah, there's no right or wrong there. But what I think about it is I think it's cool, and it'll probably only get better. Last question before we move on here to the giveaway. This is from Gelato Samurai. That's a great name, I think. I think that's your name. I have a question. What component that is used in all tremolo pedal designs that makes the volume fluctuate? So what's the component used in all tremolos that makes the volume fluctuate? So a tremolo pedal is simply turning on and off volume in some form. I've tried 5 different makes and have experienced overbearing white noise with the signal rise and all, but my drive pedals are normally quiet as a mouse. My first suggestion to you would be double check your power. Make sure you're using isolated power. Tremolo pedals should be dead quiet. You should not have noise from tremolo. Place your tremolo after your drives. And yeah, so the thing in a tremolo pedal that makes it work is called an LFO. It's a frequency oscillator. And so basically with a time, speed pot, or tap tempo, you are telling it when to turn on and off. It's the onness and the offness of the tremolo. And then you have waveforms and things like that. That's how they slide into on and off, different shapes of the sound. So, you know, you can do that with optical circuitry, light. You can do it with FETs. You can do it digitally. You can do it... There's so many ways to make tremolo. But at the end of the day... tremolo is what it is. It's tremolo. It's the volume turning on and off. And you shouldn't have noise. Sorry you're having noise. That's really frustrating. But check out your power supply and check out the term LFO. So where we are now is the magical moment that we've all been waiting for even before we knew it existed, and that is a giveaway, because all of you want something for free. And the good news for you is I love giving stuff away. So I'm going to kind of be that person that makes someone's dreams come true and crushes the rest of your dreams. So here we go. Before I get into the giveaway, I want to show off a really cool thing from my friends over at Walrus Audio. So this is fun, and you probably recognize something when I pull this out. I have a pedal called the VCR, Volume, Chorus, and Reverb. It is the Ryan Adams signature pedal by JHS. Now, if you followed me and followed JHS, you saw us release this. Check it out. And basically, it's been really popular. And my original intention with this and Ryan, becoming friends, he's super creative. He's insanely he's always thinking of new ideas. I wanted to do more and have like a line of these. And basically, I am so busy and got so crazy with things like the JB2 release with Boss, the Bonsai that just came out. Ryan has too many ideas for me, and so we had like this mutual discussion of like, dude, let's just keep the VCR. There's like tons of good pedal builders out there. Like, jump on board with someone and keep those going because they're cool. And luckily, there's Walrus. Walrus releases the Defcon 4. Check it out. If I had a power supply, it actually lights the map up. It's really crazy. So this is like an EQ boost pedal, and this is it's brand new. So this is kind of like, on the vlog I opened something. Well, this is something you should go check out. The Defcon 4 by Walrus. It is another Ryan Adams signature pedal. And they're kind of like related. Like, it's kind of like a cute, weird family. See, like the VCR is like the uncle of like the Defcon. Like the Defcon's like the nephew. Is that, or like maybe the Defcon's the uncle and the I don't know. It doesn't matter. They're just Ryan Adams signature pedals by two different companies, and that's fun. So in the spirit of camaraderie, I think that's a word I like to use right now. I'm gonna give this away. This is the VCR number 3003, and we're gonna give it away because it's fun. Okay, here are the rules. It's very simple, and there's only two. Number one is subscribe to the channel because this is a family giveaway. I'm only gonna give this to someone who's a subscriber. Number two, write one sentence, not two sentences or three. Write one sentence in the comments section of why you want this, why you deserve it, why you need it. And then you guys fight that out. And then next week, there's an episode coming out called 6 Pedal Myths. I'll say your name and I'll give it away. I'll mail it to you in the mail. It will come in the mail to you, and you will hold this in your hand and you will put it in your guitar rig, and your life will never be the same. And if you didn't win, your life will be the same. That's all for today. This was fun. This was a JHS Q&A giveaway.